Welcome, my wise astrology tribe. This is Cosmic Insight Astrology. I am your co-pilot, Christina. My intention is to be for your help navigate through this recent journey of yours. We will talk about the sweet, the soul manifestation of planetary aspects and how to find the silver lining in between. I might not be your cup of tea, but I promise I can be your shot of tequila. Cheers. And if neither, just skip my videos. I'm here to guide, not to fight. I'm only a messenger who will interpret the higher and the lower vibration of planetary aspects. This content is for educational purposes, not a piece of advice. I have chosen Jupiter and Neptune conjunction to be my first YouTube video because it will be exact on my natal Jupiter on my mother's birthday, April 12th. Happy birthday, Mom. So I took it's a miraculous sign. This is the time when faith meets optimism. So let's talk about Jupiter and Neptune a little bit. There are planetary aspects as trine between planets which is always being positive, and there is opposition which is pretty much always negative, and there is conjunction which can turn off either way. Jupiter considers being the planet of expansion, ethic, devotion, courthouses, donation, fortune, foreign affairs, foreign lands, embassy, your hips and your feet, liver, obesity, justice, philosophy, religious readers, riches, writers for publication and media. Jupiter, also known as Greek Zeus, the god of sky. So it's the lord of the sign Sagittarius and the old avatar of Pisces and rules the 9th and 12th astrological houses. It is a very optimistic, it is a very expensive planet, even associated with Santa Claus. Whatever it touches, it will expand. So if it's located actually in so if it's located in a house where it's not beneficial with bad aspects, squares or opposition, conjunction, it can create actually a bitter energy. It can create many challenges. However, Jupiter mostly is a blessing in our life. Neptune is the Greek Poseidon, the god of water, the higher octave of Venus, the higher octave of love, the modern lord of Pisces, resides in the 12th astrological house, associated with aliens, angels, ocean, astral world, alcohol, drugs, addiction, photography, actors and actresses, music and art, your sleep, your dream stage, fake, illusion, spirituality, fantasy, viruses and pandemic, holistic and pharmaceutical drugs, your pineal gland, your third eye, your feet, jails, hospitals, schools, water, mysticism, the occult, scandals, lies, theft, suicide, homelessness, and also with unemployment. So, these two planets, because of their orbit, we are talking about an outer planet, Neptune, which orbit is 160 years, and Jupiter orbit is 12 years. So they are meeting up in sky about every 165 years in Pisces, right? The last time when they met in Pisces, it was actually 1856, and the next time it will be 2188. Jupiter and Neptune meet in the sky every 13 years, but always in another sign. So next time they will meet in Aries. So it will influence on mundane level, so in the collective level and also in personal level at least for certain years. So they meet in the sky and the exact degrees and minutes April 12th. But it doesn't mean on that day everything going to happen when planets are meeting in the sky. It affects start a cycle. It starts a 13 years cycle because of they meet again in Aries 13 years later, and also it starts another 166 years of cycle. All right. So these planets going to meet in Pisces, 23 degrees. Pisces is a neutral sign, and 23 degrees. So anyone who has actually planets 23 degrees either in water signs, so Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces, or anyone who has planets in earth sign, Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, they will be really affected. People who has mutable signs, but either fire or air, they have kind of challenges. They bring some challenges in with this conjunction, right? But definitely, if you have planet between 19 degrees and between 27, it will bring in either blessings or challenges. So let's look back a little bit in history and when these two planets dance together in heaven. 2009, they met in Aquarius, and that's when was the H1N1, what flu was that? The swine flu became a global pandemic. And then also the futuristic Avatar movie was presented for us. That's one of my favorite movie anyway. And actually they are coming out with it again in April this year, the second part. It took them for a while, 12 years. And before that, Jupiter and Neptune met in Capricorn in 1997. So what's happened then? So we've been introduced to the O.J. Simpson scandal, and also we've been the Fox News actually was discovered. And I'm not gonna go through all the signs when they met together because it would take a lot of time, but I definitely gonna go back to March 1856 when Jupiter and Neptune actually danced together in heaven. So what happened? France, the represented the Catholic Church, and Russia, the Eastern Orthodox Church. So they were in war, and it was because of religious region. So Pisces is religion, and also Jupiter was religion, and it rules Sagittarius as well. But Pisces is spirituality, right? So that was kind of spiritual and religious war, and Russia got defeated that time. France won, but then England came to become the ally of France, and that's how they won. And like 2 weeks later, they won the war. France actually suffered from a major devastating flood, like 30% of France got flooded, and a lot of death happened over there. So it was very, very devastating. And also in the US, what happened, a kind of exodus, because Pisces doesn't know boundaries. And then in 1856, the Mormons, actually 500 Mormon families, started to move out from Iowa City and go to Utah and, other cities. So it was an exodus of Mormon families. And other thing happened because of Pisces and Neptune also rules drugs. So what happened, it was the Anglo-China War, the Opium War, the Second Opium War. And actually they were fighting, they fought over issues related to the exportation of opium to China. And that time China got defeated and lost 1.5 million square kilometer from the area. And the Qing dynasty also got defeated. So what can we expect right now from this recent conjunction? So as I said, 23 degrees, and in astrology degrees has a really, really important importance. and important energy. So 23 degrees Pisces actually is an Aquarius degree, which is future oriented, humanitarian degree. And that's the third decan. So the first is the past, second is the present, third is the future, and that is Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. So it's going to be a Scorpio decan, future oriented also, because 23 degree already in the future. But actually, it's going to be a transformational influence on us and a rebirth kind of effect on humanity. So this magical conjunction will sextile with North Node in Taurus and will trine South Node in Scorpio. Those are two really welcoming, positive aspects in astrology. It can signify of letting go of the material, the physical attachment, the sexual attachment, Scorpio, letting go of that. And North Node in Taurus, and then sextiling the purpose is moving toward to something spiritual. It is something, North Node in Taurus, saving the earth, making sure we are recycling, that kind of project going to be on the forefront. And this conjunction also will sextile Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation, the planet of debt, sex, insurance, other people's money, pregnancy, power. So, and Pluto is in Capricorn at this moment. So it's not within tight orb, but still close 4 degrees away, so very significant. So it definitely, because of Pluto and Pluto going to go to retrograde, in turning retrograde and stationary on the 29th of April, so it's going to transform our material world. So what else can we actually expect from this conjunction? So let me start with some kind of positive aspect over here. So this union in the film industry, because Neptune is film industry, we're going to have a lot of creative projects, and the film industry is going to go through significant changes. For example, a lot more documentary movie will be available for us, and it could be about the importance of cleaning up the water resources, the oceans, and the sweet water resources for us. And music will become really soul touching and very, very spiritual. And there will be a really new approach to photography. So perhaps they're going to invent something that will be capable to photograph our thoughts or dreams. And just like, like the ultrasound waves, when a woman is pregnant, then the bones of different parts of the body, and they create echoes that are picked up by the probe and turned into moving images. Also, many new supplements can be introduced to stimulate actually lucid dreaming and even your intuition. Just like right now, I use colloidal gold, and that is a monatomic gold, but I use it for my family to get focused, or for viruses or joint pains or lucid dreaming. And actually, I came across with colloidal gold because my older son, who is 12 right now, had night terrors for years, so he remembered past lives and he saw spirits, and he was really, really bothered by that. He didn't know how to address and how to relate to it at the beginning. So I used colloidal gold for him, and the night terrors were actually help him to win in his dream. So he woke up and he said, Mommy, the dragon came and I was capable to defeat the dragon and things like that. All right. So, but else, artists and healers are definitely in advance in this 13 years of cycle until it's gonna go into Aries. And because it's in Pisces, and Pisces also illusion, delusion, and the fake, we will have a lot of fake spiritual healer, guidance, so be careful who you believe. And they just gonna pop up like mushroom after heavy rain. So the therapist and astrologist going to be in our daily affair every single day without any shame. We gonna talk about that. Oh yes, I went to my astrologer and every single person. So the non-believers number going to decrease right now. And finally, more people going to understand we are not this crude matter, but we are spiritual beings. We will find escapism actually in movies, and a lot of people will make a move closer to oceans or lakes or rivers. This conjunction can manifest actually underwater traveling opportunities. All right, so tubes in the ocean, very fast trains, which is going to take you from New York to France in an hour without any traffic jams. And it will also increase the number of underwater hotels, for example, and the moving cities built on the ocean. Well, the source side of this union is the next few years, the pandemic can expand. And I'm going to tell you why. Because of Neptune rules viruses and pandemic, and Jupiter is expanding it. So until 2024, when Neptune gonna move to Aries, then it could actually expand the viruses and the pandemic for us. So it's not over yet, unfortunately. Or maybe another monster going to be released, or another mutation. So other bitter aspects can be manifested with major floods. You remember I mentioned France had a devastated flood. So Jupiter, Neptune, both water all over. Lucky is the one who can swim this year. So unfortunately, it could be a lot of flood. And Neptune is inflation. It's unfortunately it can bring to the world inflation and a rocket high oil prices because Neptune also rules oil. And it's not only gonna be in America. It's not any political party. Like it's world. It's global. It's collective. We are going through transformation together. But again, actually it could end the oil world, and I tell you why. Because of Pisces, oil, ocean, and oil creature. I mean ocean creature. The oil coming from, right? Oh my God, I don't even know what am I saying. And when it goes to Aries is fire sign, so it could be either like back in 13 years we only going to use solar power, some kind of fiery energy, or maybe we're gonna go back to coal actually. But well, I strongly doubt we're gonna go back to coal. I think coal is only going to remain Santa's punishment for the one who behave badly. It can also manifest as borders will be recreated. And because Pisces doesn't understand and no boundaries and has no borders at all. Like the ocean is washing the shores and coming in and coming further and further, so no boundaries there. So it will definitely increase exodus and the number of refugees, and it will be increased because of the and wars, and because of actually floods all over the world. And the wars, it's not, I only mean by Russia and Ukraine right now, and the third party going to get involved because of Saturn Mars met in heaven in April 5th, which has a 26-month cycle. So for 26 months, it will be affected. It's going to be a lot of terror attacks, unfortunately. And the war will escalate. And unfortunately, Saturn and Mars, both of the astrocartography, the line went through of Kiev on April 5th. So obviously, it's going to be devastating for Ukraine. So unfortunately, also this Neptune and Jupiter can actually increase the drug using, the escapism, the drug. But you know, a lot of people are going to be caught, like quartet members, and we gonna find a lot of new drugs that we didn't even know about before. And we're gonna have a lot more suicides and unemployment also, and unfortunately, it holds homelessness as well. Jobs will be offered on certain area. It's going to be offered in hospitals. It's going to be offered in homeless shelters, prisons, orphanages, and charity works. It will be offered. So Jupiter also can expose actually scandals, since Neptune actually rules life and death. So there are going to be a lot of scandals. So it can also unite spirituality with religion, because spirituality, Neptune, Jupiter, religion unite them somehow. And actually, it can reform the Catholic Church. So it could end popeism and unite all the religions somehow in one, and have some kind of new spiritual avenue for all of us. So that is great over there, I believe. I also checked 4 countries, and I'm going to start with the US because I live in the US recently. This is not an opinion. I simply analyzing the charts of the countries, alright? So I'm going to start with US, and the USA has a Sagittarius rising, so it will happen actually in its fourth house, this kind of beautiful magical union. So fourth house rules homes, families, roots, real estate. But it can bring a lot of foreclosure, or actually it can bring literally floods in the US home market, like flooded. And this conjunction actually squares with the US natal Mars. And because of the foreclosure houses, it could create a social unrest. And it sextiles also with USA Pluto return. And US Pluto return also happened a long time ago. Um, and that is the first US Pluto return. And that is very challenging, difficult aspect. So even the sextile, which would be like, all right, it could have some difficulties, but usually turns out to be positive. At this moment, because of the Pluto return, it will give some challenges on the home market situation. So what else have I had in my notes? Okay, all right, so the home front, which is very, very positive. People actually going to stay connected with their family members, and it's gonna be very important. Also, they're going to become and find some comfort actually in spirituality. And you know what? Music and art going to be valued by families and not just the material world. So the value is going to be different and change. So the Neptune Jupiter conjunction also helping for the adoption. So it's going to allow a lot more families actually to adopt children. And the process itself going to be a lot easier, not like before to go through like 6, 7 years, someone who couldn't conceive. It's going to be a lot easier right now. Also, it will trine with the North Node I mentioned before, and North Node is in US 6th house in Taurus. So 6th house is healthcare, health, work. So in healthcare, it could be offered a lot more work for people. So nurses and doctors will be needed, social workers, mental health care, and also I think there gonna be a major reform in the healthcare. It's going to be more affordable for many of people. And what is really great, because of Neptune's pandemic and because it's actually sextiling, most likely they will come up with some kind of pharmaceutical drug that is helping actually to decrease the pandemic and get rid of it. So, you know. All right, I'm gonna go to Russia right now, and because of the war. And I wanted to check Russia, and actually Russia has a Leo rising, and Jupiter and Neptune conjunction will affect its eighth house of death, bank system transformation and death. Uh, However, it rhymes with its natal Pluto, and the natal Pluto of Russia is in rulership in Scorpio, so it's extremely strong. So the power most likely going to stay with Russia, whether we like it or not. There will be a bypass of the bank system and regain their financial loss through manipulating oil. Neptune is oil and eighth house is bank and, Plutonian energies, and also Pluto is, all is connected over there. So Pluto is power, Neptune is oil, eighth house is bank system, and it actually will turn for their benefit. Paying in ruble and Bitcoin will help him correct the financial struggle of the country. Neptune Jupiter in eighth house also will increase the number of deaths from the war, unfortunately. And then I'm going to move on to Ukraine right now. Ukraine has an Aquarius rising and has an Aquarius sun, not sun, but moon, and has an Aquarius Saturn as well. And Ukraine moon is in 22 degrees. And right now the recent Saturn-Mars conjunction happened on its moon, and moon is representing its people. And Saturn-Mars could be violent death, and it was exact on that in the first house, so that a lot of death going to the death gonna be increased. Then the Neptune and Jupiter conjunction going to happen in its second house, and it's opposing the natal Mars in eighth house. So inflation, or also it could be flood, and flood created that. So they're not necessarily going to have only the war, but maybe they're going to suffer some flood as well. So the good side. I don't know how good is that, but at least because of the second house of resources of Ukraine, they're going to have charity money and donations a lot, and they're going to be provided with hospitals and shelters, because the Pluto in their 12th house gonna go in retrograde, and 12th house is hospitals and shelters. So because of it's gonna sextile with it, so they're gonna be provided. Ukraine people will be sheltered and hospitalized by others, and charity will be provided for them. But truly, the chart didn't look very well. And then I'm gonna go to China, and I'm gonna go to China because at the beginning I felt like the superpower gonna shift from US, right? Because Pluto written in US, it's gonna be done. So I thought maybe China or Russia gonna go to the east. But then when I checked Russia, and the Russian war actually happened on my birthday, but that's sad news. But then again, I checked China as well, and China has a very similar chart like Ukraine. So I think it won't be China, it's gonna be Russia who gonna gain superpower again, like it was before. So, but China has also Aquarius rising and Aquarius moon. So when we had Saturn transited, and Saturn transited Aquarius 2 years ago, 2020 beginning. That's when the whole entire lockdown happened. And it's also right now, it's opposing the the natal Saturn of China. It's a very, very wild orb, so it's 10 degrees different already, so it's separating. But I can still see some kind of lockdown. So unfortunately, China also not in a good position at this moment. All right, so I'm going to move right now sign to sign and explain everything for all of you. And I'm gonna start with Aries, of course, but I have to mention a few things over here. Venus also went to Pisces in April 3rd, and Venus loves to be in Pisces because it's exalted over there and it's giving an extra shot of boost and of love and magic for this magical conjunction over here. And also, I have to mention Venus going to conjunct with Neptune first on the 27th of April, after on the 30th of April with Jupiter, so extra boost, beauty, love, creating something beautiful together. And then also we're going to have the second new moon of the month. It's going to be in Taurus, not in Aries, but second in the month, so we call it black moon. And it's going to happen on a day of solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse. So can you imagine how many amazing planetary aspects is happening in April? It's going to be unbelievable and really, really magical and transformative. So I have to explain you also, I do tropical and I do whole sign, Western astrology, to check for your rising sign. And if you don't know the exact birth of your time, exact time of your birth, you can check for and apply that for your sun and your moon sign. So the sun is your purpose, your life goal, representing the moon is for emotions or feelings. And then the rising is actually the mask what we put on, who we pretend, who we act on situation, and who we pretend for others. So starting with Aries, the Aries people actually had a magical new moon right after the spring equinox. So they are on fire, ready to create, ready for action. Jupiter-Neptune conjunction will happen in your 12th house. Both planets feel safe and they are both at home at 12th house. However, Neptune doesn't like to be in Aries. You know, the very active Aries is too much for the dreamy Neptune. In a way, this can expose one of your secrets, increase your lucid dreaming and nightmares about fight, war, and flooding. You will be capable of channeling and your intuition will be intense. Past life regression can release negative energies and psychological blockages and heal your mental state. Great for artists, if you are a photographer or if you are in film industry or a scriptwriter or a movie director or a dancer, anything with art really. Great to create a new project. If you work in hotel industry, you can buy your first boutique hotel or you buy something in a foreign land, Jupiter is foreign land, or start an Airbnb. On the negative side, Aries rules your health, so you can experience some kind of sinus infection actually caused by viruses, and you can start to escape reality with drops or drinking. And also be careful to use new pharmaceutical because it could create some kind of allergic reaction in your body, and overdose is also possible. So for my dear Tauruses, and both of my son are Taurus, May 1st, May 2nd, and my husband is a Taurus rising. So it will affect your 11th house of hopes and wishes and governors and social circle, friends, stepchildren, step sibling, your business income also because it's two houses from like from the 10th, so from career-related income. And humanitarian projects, also non-profit. So this is truly a magical alignment. It could like bring something for you, like new friendship, um, new tribe into your life. If you have a court case for parenting, then it could turn for your benefit. You can also attract some very good benefactors. So people who want you to succeed, people who willing to fund your dream. Spontaneous healing actually for one of your friend, because 11th of your friend or step sibling, so they can have a spontaneous healing if they are ill, or if they were diagnosed with permanent illness. Getting an actor or actress job through your agent and manager, because 11th house also rules agent and manager, and Jupiter is actor actress. Monetary gain actually through your hard work, through your project, but especially if you are working in non-profit or if you are working on a humanitarian project, monetary gain. Yeah, I know it's ironic, but whatever. You can also be victimized to donate to a humanitarian but fake project, so be careful here. Adoption can get finalized and you can get awarded in art. The source side of this, like you will be surrounded by pretenders. People want to be maybe your friend, but not because of you, because of they want to climb the social ladder. And on the physical level, it can create actually joint inflammation and joint pain. So let's see our tribe of Gemini. You will have this alignment in the 10th house of career, prestige, rank, reputation, dignity, fame, ounce, bones, needs, and tenants. So you will be actually jammed with possibilities. You will be in the right place at the right time. Promotion, change of vocation, success through career. It's magnified right now. You can go viral overnight and become really famous. Jupiter rules 7th house in your natal chart, so you can become famous for collaborating with others or through a spiritual project or networking with others actually. Or actually you can become famous through your marriage partner. So next one is my nurturing cancers, and it will affect your 9th house of publishing, second marriage, uh, everywhere, higher education, philosophy, religion, long distance traveling. You can have actually an epiphany. So through some kind of divine insight, higher education, law school, journalism, foreign relation, even getting your master's, if you couldn't get it before, I know it can happen. Becoming a published writer or becoming a professor, a spiritual leader, is all possible. Long distance overseas traveling is really well supported. The negative manifestation is you can actually believe fake healers, and actually you can pay out a lot of money for someone who will say, oh, listen, if you give me $2,000, $3,000, I'm going to have a love bind for you forever and you're going to get this woman or man. So definitely be careful over there. My glamorous Leo. Oh, it will take place in your 8th house. And 8th house is transformation, mutual resources, pregnancy, your sex life, your insurance, inheritance, and deep, deep intuition. And pregnancy also. But maybe I mentioned that. You can get healed through past life regression and healed from a previous sexual trauma. You can become really intuitive. You can have your psychic ability going to increase and going to be really significant. Also, you can get pregnant, and because Jupiter rules the fifth house in your natal chart, which is children and creativity, you can give birth or adopt a child. The lower vibration can take place as affect your reproductive organs, some kind of viral infection over there, or you can have an ectopic pregnancy or miscarriages. Also, you can be blinded by cold, so be careful. Virgos, it will take place actually in your seventh house, and seventh house is collaboration with others. Seventh house is partnership. It's marriage. It is actually your allies. Um, it could shower you with blessings through a wedding or a marriage. You can find a partner actually who could be a nurse, a doctor, Doctors Without Borders, spiritual healer, attorney, a foreigner, a photographer, an actor, a musician, some kind of movie star even. Because of Jupiter rules your fourth house, you are capable to create luxurious homes for others. And with your design, because your design going to be extremely, you're gonna be extremely creative because Pisces also moved over there in your seventh house. So, and it's because Jupiter is actually in rules the fourth house of real estate and homes, and designing going to be a big theme right now for you for a while, for a longer while. Libra. Well, Libra, this conjunction will occur in your sixth house. And sixth house is your daily routine, it is your health, it is serving for others, and it is your work, your daily work, right? So you will implement some kind of spiritual practice or therapy in your daily routines, and you will want to keep your health at bay. So you can join a dance club, Zumba, painting classes to keep your mental health. And you will be able actually to hire people. This is the time when you can hire a lot of people if you have a company and for some kind of new creative project. And networking, some kind of new networking project is also possible. And you can also adopt small animals. Careful with gaining weight and also careful um, to have some kind of growth in the body because of sixth house is health. So careful with that, please. Um, and especially because of Jupiter in natal chart rules the third house, so the throat chakra, thyroid, esophagus, vocal cord, you can have some kind of noodle over there or some kind of growth. So just be careful with that and check it out, please. So then let's go to Scorpios. And Scorpios, it will affect, let me turn that away for a second, because the sun is shining in my face and you want to see my face. So I'm back. Okay. Yes, I am back. Okay. So I went, yes, Scorpios. I don't want to leave you guys out. So it will take place in your fifth house of gift, creativity, lottery winning, prizes, romance, children, and investment. And actually, new romances are possible, and or adopting a child or having a child are possible. A previous investment can bring in a landfall of financial abundance for you, Scorpios, and winning some prize, some lottery winning is possible. Getting well paid through a creative project, something that you have done before, like maybe you created a photography and you had an art show, but it didn't go well. But right now somebody's going to get back to you, and yes, they're going to buy this photography, and it is a land full of money. It's beautiful. It's truly beautiful. You will also spend a lot of joyous time with your children. And if you don't have any children, you will become a child, like happy like a child. So this is truly beautiful. And but you have to be careful. Jupiter rules your second house in your natal chart, and this conjunction in your fifth house, and fifth house is associated with Leo, Leo associated with circulation heart, second house is teeth. So gum disease, some kind of gingivitis or something like that, but later on could affect your heart. So I definitely would advise you to go and pay attention to your teeth health, gum health, and your heart and circulation. And my lovely Sagittarius, best. All right. So this amazing conjunction will happen in your fourth house. And fourth house actually is your home, real estate, your ancestors, your family. Well, I see a key in your hand. So actually you can really buy your dream house right now, and it's going to be really close, Jupiter Neptune. Even when Jupiter gonna go to Aries May 10th, it's still within warps, it's still a conjunction, right? And gonna go back and forth and back and forth. So it's gonna be a long term effect. And October also going back in Pisces, and gonna conjunct again, not exact but conjunct again. So I do see you a new home, or I do see your living situation improve, and maybe you're just going to renovate your home, but many of you going to actually move. Um, Spontaneous healing could occur in a family member, and most likely mother figure, because fourth house is ruled by Cancer originally and Moon. So that's a mother figure. So most likely a mother figure, spontaneous healing over there. But you have to be careful, like it could be a flood in your home, and also it could be something like, because of Neptune Jupiter would increase the refugees, and because of your good heart you can take on to people, on refugees in your home who invite himself, herself in your home for temporary, but want to stay permanently. So careful not to be fooled over there. Capricorn. Okay, so my dear Capricorn, this conjunction going to take place in your third house. And third house is associated with communication. Third house is associated with classes, with writing, with public speaking, with networking, neighbors, internet, friends, siblings. All right. Spiritual writing, intuitive writing, both are possible. And starting a motivational speaking class, for example, or creating a website, or your own YouTube channel. And that's all are possible. Creating actually an application to support either art or spirituality. Perhaps creating your own crypto. So crypto coins, definitely possible. Your words will become healing, and you can channel actually a whole entire book through your dreams. Your neighborhood might going to change, and either you going to move to find your tribe, or people who are having the same spiritual beliefs or religion might going to move into your neighborhood. The bad side of this, it could be like, all right, yeah, in my neighborhood going to have some druggies or drunks in, so yeah, it could be the bad side of that as well. Or actually you also will need to watch out with alcohol and drugs and be mindful with it. My Aquarius. The conjunction will take place in your second house of resources and income, values, valuables, okay, finances, and stepchildren, grandchildren. So spontaneous healing within family with a stepchild or a grandchild could be possible. You can manifest some kind of vocal cord infection also, so careful with that. a hoarse voice, but your values will become very spiritual, really, really spiritual, and you will invest your knowledge, your time, because Aquarius is humanitarian, and you can create a non-profit and actually help for others, and it's going to be beautiful. Your tribe going to grow. It's like unbelievable. A lot of new friendship who has the same core beliefs as you do. But you will have to be careful with not supporting those one who doesn't value your time or your knowledge, not to give it to people who take advantage on you. And my beautiful Pisces. All right. Well, Pisces, that is your two ruling planets. What can I say? You know, it will occur in your first house of self-worth and physical body, ego, personality, self-interest, your habits, and anything on your face, eyes, skull, head, whatever. These aspects actually make you like super psychic, and perhaps you will channel information from the divine. Your intuition will be prophetic. You can actually receive wisdom from collective knowledge through meditation or through your dreams. You can become a spiritual guide for the public since Jupiter rules originally your 10th house. And that's public eye. You can become a spiritual guide or a spiritual teacher. And actually, you can be in center of attention very, very quickly. You can gain glory overnight. You will raise some eyebrows, even surprise yourself. Your dreams will be lucid. You might even experience astral travel or out of body experiences on the physical, and I hope it's not out of body experience because of you going to surgery, right? And then we're gonna have an out of body experience. I'm a Pisces sun. But I had out of body experience and it was wonderful. It was like, all right, I'm totally, I'm not ready. I don't want to die, but there is afterlife and it's beautiful. On the physical level, be careful with your ankles or eyes. So some kind of viruses, pink eye, vision issues, swollen ankles are all possible. All right. So guys, I hope I shed light and have given you great insight. I would like to thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. I truly appreciate your trust in me to guide you through your spiritual journey. Till next time.